Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of the What Topic
Great start.
Great start. I'm being put up on that lady's voice again. Jesus Christ. It's a bit of a disaster, really. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of the What Topic podcast number 23 with your hosts, Josh Deakin at Miss Josh Deakin.
And your co-host, Owen Burkett at Owen.Burkett.
And-
First of all, I need to say that it's actually episode 24 of the podcast.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, I checked earlier and I was like, we already made 23 episodes right now.
Oh, did I put on the story as 24? I did. Okay,
Yeah.
It's just me, guys. I'm sorry. Bit of a mistake there.
Episode 23 we made last time, so yeah.
So yeah, I'm failing. Yeah, so it's 24, guys. Anyway, enough waffling. It is our special episode today because we are joined by our special guest,
Olivia Hack.
Hello. And what is your Instagram?
Lives Artistry. Thank you for having me, guys.
You're very welcome.
Oh, my pleasure.
So it's going to be quite an interesting episode today because we've had a few different types of people come onto the podcast. And obviously when I've done my previous podcast, it's on highest at the minute, we've had guests on there as well. More folks around photography. But today we're going down makeup and hair as a creative field. And I know someone who just loves to talk about stuff like that. Liv. So yeah, I say, where should we start? Should we talk about where you got started with hair and makeup and which one came first?
So for me, it was always hair. Like I did crazy makeup looks and things. Like I went a little bit over the top and just your everyday makeup. But yeah, I was working in the hair salon for ages, and I was just like in the staff room and everyone was kind of basically just saying like what they'd done when they was 18. Like a few people went to uni, someone went to London, and I was just like, oh, I've just worked in a hair salon since the age of 14 and I haven't really done anything else. And don't get me wrong, I literally loved working in this hair salon, like it was like my dream job. But I just felt like I was really settling down in Cornwall and nothing was really going on. And it was just like get up and work every single day. And I just thought, I want to do something more. And it was my colleague at the time and she said, Liv, why don't you go and do this course? Like it's something that I nearly did and it would like really, really suit you. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. And a couple of the girls like didn't really believe that I would do it, and they were just like, oh, you're not going to go off to uni. And like I told my parents and they were like a little bit annoyed because they was going to put down a deposit for a house for me and I was just going to settle down in Penzance. So yeah, they was a little bit confused and I was a bit confused. Like I just wanted to do something a little bit more. Like I had like this creative ambition inside of me and I just literally wanted to go that extra mile. So yeah, I just literally got on a train to Birmingham and here I am now. I just thought I'd take the leap.
Yeah.
But I looked at numerous unis. It was Birmingham that I saw a picture and I was like, it was just a picture of this girl doing someone's makeup and she'd had a massive headpiece and costume and I was like, that is me. Like I want to be that person doing that. So yeah, I literally just thought, let's just do it.
Yeah, sometimes you do have to take a leap, don't you? Sorry, go on, Owen.
No, I was just going to say, like, what inspired you to go starting from hair and then, did you learn any other sort of makeup effects artists along the way that continued your inspiration as being a makeup artist?
So I'd only really done makeup on myself. Like I loved makeup, but I didn't do any prosthetics, special effects. I knew literally nothing. And I did this course because it was hair and makeup. I literally did this course, but for the hair side of things, it wasn't makeup. And then the first series of Glow Up was on at the time and I was like, oh, this is like the kind of thing that I think I'll be doing at uni, and it really interested me. And I started doing like more crazier makeup looks and like, don't get me wrong, when I got to uni, I had no idea. Like, I could not do makeup on someone else. Like, I was so bad at makeup on other people.
Were you kind of worried about, like, were you self-conscious about messing up on them, and then you're going to get worried of what they're going to think, or what?
Yeah.
What was the reason
I
behind
still
it?
get like that now. Like every time I do a makeup look, like in my head, I'm like, oh no, what if they don't like it? What if they hate it? Like, because it's like going to the hairdressers as well. Sometimes they'll do like a haircut and you're too afraid to say, oh, I don't like it. So you just go along and be like, oh yeah, no, it's good, thanks.
Oh no, wait till you get to my age and you just go, yeah, I'll stop.
Yeah, I get that like panic, because like once the hair is cut, it's too late. Like to try and like make it better is
it kind of depends. Like if you can save it just in time, then definitely just say, like, well, hey, don't stop. But most of the time, like the hairdressers, luckily enough, I mostly trust them. I just show them picture references and I go, that's what I want. And yeah, but I have been in certain situations where like you said, I've just gone like, oh, I don't want to be like that person. But like I said, as you grow older, you just kind of go like, actually, they've been paid. I'm paying you to do my hair, whatever. So I'm just going to say it, and I'm like, oh, well, stop. Stop. Just before you do anything, just do this and that. So, but I kind of get. I guess I can understand where that mindset comes from. It's easier said than done. You're thinking like, well, I can always fix it or whatever, or I'm not going to give a shit. Like I know what I'm doing, but you just can't help it, like thinking like, oh, they're gonna hate this or whatever.
It does take quite a lot of confidence to do. Like people think that hairdressing is such an easy thing. It really isn't. Like that's
no, hell no.
Like you only have to take a pair of scissors and try and do it yourself, and you're like, well, I've basically got a bowl cut now. I haven't got any sort of cutting done right. Like you literally see him the hairdresser in the mirror, literally cutting little shards here, little shards there to make it all line up and perfect. Like when you walk in and they ask you what grade do you want, I'm like, what did I have last time? Was it grade 2 or grade 1? I don't fucking know. Like you guys know more than me.
Just make me look good, damn it! Like all right.
Honestly, it's one of those things. Like I don't know what it was like for you, like when you were learning, Liv. But like I imagine that there was just loads of like opportunities where like you was like scared that you'd mess up, but like it's just retraining your.
Oh, it's terrifying. Yeah, especially like the first time you cut someone's hair, like because you don't really know what you're doing. You've just got to do it. But I feel like you've either kind of got it or you haven't. Like you've got to literally love it. You've got my lecturer saying like, what makes a good hairdresser is someone who cares. And it's so true because I've met hairdressers who like don't care what they're doing, and like clients are walking out with bad haircuts, but if you care about the client, they are paying you for their service and you want them to come back to you again and get a good name for yourself. Every single time, whether it's makeup or hair, you have to do the best job possible. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I could understand like if you catched it early with makeup that you can like recover it and start again, but like with hair it's like, well, that's not coming back at any point in the next few minutes. You're gonna have to wait a few weeks for it to be sorted, like, and like it's the reason why there are so many meme pages of people's haircuts like so fucked, because people just are either like so just outrageously bad with doing their hair for people or doing people's hair, and they just don't give a shit. As you say, like you've really got to have your heart in it, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. You have to love it. Like with makeup as well, like you have to love it, because otherwise then it's such a competitive industry. Like not so much hairdressing, but the whole makeup side of things. Like there's so many girls now that want to be makeup artists. It's such a competitive industry. Like the people on my course, there's hundreds of people doing the same thing. You can do it at college now. So you have to really like go above and just do more than the average person to get to where you want to be. You've
got to have the not just the passion but the inspiration to constantly, like, I guess you could say, because obviously you do your makeup looks on you for not just for your uni course, but like when you do work with Instagram collaborating, like say for example me, like you keep checking everything's working, check things, try new things. It doesn't stop, it doesn't, does it? Like even in your chill time, you might look at something without even realizing, and you've just inspired yourself to do another makeup look. Like we've had this conversation, we were chatting about a photo, and then a few hours later you're like, oh, look at this I tried. I'm like, blimey, it takes a few a few moments for you to just like link back with that stuff again. I think it's the same for all creatives in general. Though, like you might see something that you like, and then it takes you on another journey somewhere else, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just constantly inspired. Like everything I see, I just sort of like, oh, I'd love to do that makeup look. Like before I do a shoot, I'll always practice it on myself just to make sure that I can actually do it and make sure that it looks good as well. And yeah, you've definitely just got to be prepared, because if I don't prepare myself for a shoot, then it's never going to go the way I want it to. So preparation is definitely key.
As you say, your heart's got to be in it, and if it's not right on the day, it's just like, yeah, you don't want to put yourself in that situation where you feel like your credibility takes a dip, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I guess looking at like, you know, where you are right now with everything that you're doing, and say with we'll talk about like, you know, the sort of things that you've been doing with Instagram, and obviously like that's obviously helping you continue to hone your craft as you go. But what was your like main sort of inspirations as you were starting to get into hair and makeup?
I take a lot of inspiration from Pinterest, because every like picture that comes through, you just keep getting more pictures. And if you follow the right accounts on Instagram as well, because I'm constantly on Instagram, you're just going through feed and you're just seeing people's work constantly, and you're like, oh, that's really cool, oh, that's really cool. And like TikTok now as well, like just constantly seeing images of other people's work inspires me. And like any feeling and emotion that I have, I get inspired by. Like I used to just do drawings when I was younger and like put my feelings and emotions into drawings, but now it's through makeup.
That's fantastic. That's really cool.
But yeah, it was always hard for me, but now doing more makeup, I think I enjoy makeup more, because you can be more creative with it. I think with hair, like it gets to the line, you know, there's only so many braids and many like curls and things, but with makeup you can just sort of go the extra mile.
That's yeah. And say like you can do all sorts, like when you were saying about holographic stuff, I was like, I heard of that before, but I was like, oh, that would sound really cool. That would, like, just the little things that like make everything pop.
Yeah, and there's so many new products that's coming out as well, so it's the industry is constantly expanding as well, which is really exciting.
And to kind of go back to when you said that you're going to tell your friends and family about what you're going to do, now you've done it for how long have you been doing this now?
About 2 years.
2 years. And then what do they say about it now? Are they taking it a bit seriously now? Now you're committed to it, or are they got the same mindset where they're just not taking it as seriously?
They're taking it seriously now. Like now they can see that I'm getting paid jobs and it's starting to become more of a career. I think at first they were just a little bit like, this isn't really a degree. And everyone has that. Like when I meet new people, say in a club or whatever, and they're like, oh, what you do? I get so embarrassed saying I do hair and makeup as a degree, because everyone's sort of like, oh, that's not a degree. Like what even is...
I've had that as well. I studied film like 10 odd years ago, and I would say that to everyone, and everyone's like even my old dentist, thank God he's locked off somewhere, but he would say about his like he was doing my teeth, and he would just go like, so what you do? And I do like, oh, I'm studying film, and then he'd go, oh, and then he would just go, well, my son is doing... and as soon as I heard that, I just blanked out, and I kind of went, oh, okay. And I even said to him, like, well, don't be so dismissive to the creative arts, because that's what's entertaining you every day. And he just kind of looked at me and went, yeah. Okay. And I still kind of get that. But at the end, I just went, well, I don't give a shit. I'm entertaining your lives anyways. So that's what I get paid to do.
You think it wouldn't take COVID to really kind of kick people's mindsets? Because if you think about it, the job that you do, Owen, is, it's very much entwined to Liv's industry, because obviously like they do your makeup, they do your hair, like get you ready. It doesn't matter whether you're on the front of the screen, or if you're in a backer position, like a bonus, what I forgot the name, extra, that's it, extra, actor. It matters big time, it does. So like for someone to say that to you, like your dentist, your ex-dentist, I guess, it's like just dismissing something just because it's not like someone saving lives or somebody, you know, doing
or
physical
doing
exercise.
a law or science or whatever. It's like it's so dismissive and just patronizing. Like it just kind of got like a pat on the back, go, "Oh, good for you doing what you enjoy doing," even though they're not really being serious. And I even had family members saying that, and even my sister just had enough of it, and she was just going, "Look, without photographers, actors, and all that, you go into the theater, the cinema, or." Whatever it is that you want to do to have your downtime, just remember, like, we're the ones providing you the entertainment, like whether you want to read a book or a newspaper or listen to music or whatever it is that we would decide to want to do. Like, we're providing you some sort of escape. And it's just, it pisses me off so much. So every creative that I see, like, I just support them every single other way, just because it's hard to be inspired when nobody else would take you seriously. So
Yeah.
I give my full support for anyone to keep doing what they want to do. So
It does make you think. It really does. Like, I mean, I've not had it probably as bad as both of you have. Like, where people just like dismiss that you doing something that's, like, don't get me wrong. I think that doing photography as a course, I think it's got its merits and everything like that. I think it's great. But like, I think you don't have to go to a course in a college or uni to learn photography.
nowadays, no, there's
Not
so
as much
many,
as you used to.
there's so many avenues to go around it. Like, because when I studied, like, it wasn't as it just kind of felt like you had to either just go to university or film school or whatever it is. But nowadays, like, you can just say you can just be self-taught and it would be just as valuable. So
That's literally it. Yeah, you're right. You couldn't be more on the head. And like, I think that one of the things that I realised recently is that my photography was, for want of a better word, I felt like it was hitting a bit of a wall with some things, and like, people might dismiss that and say that, like, oh, you're just being paranoid for no reason, but there's no such thing as being paranoid for no reason, in my opinion. Like, everyone has a paranoia for some reason, and it's where it's linked to your gut feeling, or it's just linked to something that's just eating away at you. And I think that was that I wasn't adding something completely new to my work. And at the time, the sort of thing that I was hoping to do kind of fell into my lap a little bit, because as you all know, Liv, Alice got in touch with me, said that somebody was interested in doing makeup, doing a collaboration, doing something really cool. And Alice was like, "Oh, I would love to do it with this person, Liv's artistry." And like, I've been following you for a little bit, and I'd actually thought to even message you in December last year, and for some reason I just didn't get around to doing it, or just forgot to do it. But because of Alice, for those who don't know, Alice Key, she's on my Instagram page, a model, good friend as well. And yeah, because of that, we came together to do our forest shoot a few weeks ago, and then we've just done another shoot brand new, literally just last weekend. And we've been talking about ideas ever since. Like, and I feel like if it wasn't for Alice saying something about doing something cool makeup wise, I don't think I'd have got to that point as quickly. And I feel like that's filled the gap better now, because my photography is showing off something that's very expressive. And at the same time, it's also helping another fellow creative to, move up with their work as well. Then we move up together, right?
This is just the best thing about networking, because everyone knows someone, and everyone, recommends each other and wants to help each other out. And once you work with one person and then you work with another person, that's just the best thing about it. Like, is just building the network. Like, I feel like we've all like become this little community, and we all just know each other and support each other.
Yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's the best thing that I always hear from everyone.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they teach us at uni as well. They're like, you have to go out and make contacts, because, like you say, someone knows someone, and then it just leads on that way.
Because it's not going to always come to you on a silver platter. You've got to have your heart in it, and if you're not there for it, then not everyone's going to be able to help you.
Yeah, I think that's a hard pill to swallow for some people, because they think that these jobs are just going to be handed to them, and you do have to go out there and you have to do so much free work and just work so hard to then get to where you want to be. But then that just shows how much determination and ambition you have if you get through that.
Yeah, if you think about it, like, you know, the weak will fall, and the people who are stronger willed and put their heart into it will prevail. Like, you'll always find there are people that will always like ask other people what they should do, what should they do, like who they should contact. Like, even photographers who have come to me, even though I've been in that place before, and have said, like, how do you go about talking to models? Literally, the first thing I say to every single photographer is just message them. What is the worst that could happen? And I think that goes without saying for anybody who wants to, you know, strike up a conversation with a creative such as yourself, Liv, whether it's you, Owen, or me. It shouldn't take... I can understand the anxiety about messaging new people because you think that you're going to get put down or something like that, but you've got to get put down to keep going back up. Like, you know, you got to fight the battles every day. Like, we wake up every day, and we might not wake up the next day. It's a battle every day to think about where you're going next in your creative field, or just in life in general, because, like, you make great friends from doing this. It's not just networking and understanding who's who and working with people. You make genuine friendships for life throughout this as well, which is one of the things that I love doing for this.
You literally do. I've worked with so many models now where I'm like, oh, me and you would be like really good friends. And it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then, yeah, like, it's nice, you know, becoming friends with you and a lot of other people that I've worked with. It's just nice. And now we can go for a pint after the shoot, which is always good.
Well, I've seen plenty of those, so yeah.
For context, we had to cancel yesterday because we went out on a spontaneous drink out, and it went a bit wild. That's the least we're gonna say.
I think the quote I heard from Liv was, "My foot is alcoholic."
Oh yeah, that was from a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Snuff. My drink miraculously fell. I don't know what happened, but 1 minute it was on the table, the next minute the whole drink was on my shoe. For some reason, I just kept continuously saying, my foot is an alcoholic, because it was just drenched in alcohol.
Oh, okay, I see.
I do love that, the irony of things like that. Like, it's not even just a drunk thing to say. It's just like, yep, my foot just keeps getting caught in alcohol.
There is some logic to it, but it just sounds utter like nonsense to everyone else.
It's funny because, like, literally one of the things that people know about Birmingham is that we have a notoriously named club called Snobs, and a lot of people, not even just us guys, but a lot of people know it. You know, quite a lot of places in the country, and they're like, it's one of those ones you've got to go and do, even if it's a weird sounding place. It's just great to go out.
Well, I mean, I'm yet to do that once I come up eventually, which is going to be at some point either this month or next month. So
we'll pop your Snobs cherry, mate. It's okay.
Snobs cherry, Jesus. All right, whatever. You know, pop it like whatever you want. So
pop it like it's hot. No, it's great though, because, like, I know quite a few friends who've gone there now, and, like, I'm not one for going out partying very much. So, like, I've been brought back into that a lot more recently, and I think that's one of the beauties of networking. You make friends through all these different things, and then you find there's other things that you like to do. Like, I went ice skating last Monday, and I've not been ice skating for years, but it's only because I've got friends that I've networked with recently in the last few years. You make those avenues. It's not just doing your makeup or your hair or modelling or doing photography. You got those extra bits that after, like, you make the friends for life.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely know who. Like, you definitely know who your friends are. Like, definitely know who the crowd is. Like, we just I mean, even when we're filming on Tuesday or back in February, you just have a laugh and just have fun. But, you know, it's yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah. You just know who you are. I was struggling a bit, but yeah, it's just basically you just know who you are, like the people that you belong with, as it were.
Yeah, because you are right saying that obviously it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I know this, you probably know this, Liv, Owen, you know it as well. There will be times where you'll find creatives that are more about getting something out of you than you getting out of them. Like, and it's not a fair collaboration. So that's the bit to always be aware of. Like, you know, we're not going to, like, quote anything here because we're good people. We don't like to throw people under the bus. But, like, there are times when you have to be aware of who to work with, I think, because I don't know how to summarize it. Do you guys get what I mean?
I mean, you just know that, you know, if you click with somebody and if you get a feeling with that somebody, it's just basically just using of their own gain. Then, yeah, I mean, I've done that a few times where I just kind of just absolutely just without any explanation, just ghost them, just be like, right, I know how to do this, and I see how it goes. So I just because I've had that before when people decide because I've been in films and TV shows that they've absolutely loved. It's like, how did you get in it? And I tell basically I still tell them how to do it, because even if I tell them how to do it, there's still no guarantee that they're going to get involved in the various productions that are still ongoing. So I had this one lady that on Instagram just messaged me saying, "Oh, I love it when I love that. I hate Susie. Like, how did you get on it?" And I just said, "Oh, I'm just joining up some many agencies. Here's the list of agencies. Half of them are not open, that haven't opened their books, so you know you're not going to be able to get on them. But I'm not going to tell you that." And
you can't give everything to people on a silver platter. Yeah,
no, I'm not going to make it that easy for them. So, and I did, because normally I would say, you know, just tell them I recommended you and you'll be good. But I didn't even do that. I was just like, just join up with them, get some photos ready, and yeah, just do it that way. And that was the last time I've heard from them. So I was like, yeah, whatever.
It's mad.
Fuck 'em. So
if you don't know them, you don't owe them anything. Like,
no, not at all.
Where you are, like, why should you just give it to them on a plate?
Like I said, like, you know, like it wasn't a huge ball breaker. Like, like the fact I told them exactly what to do, it's still in my head going, well, there's still no guarantee they're going to get involved in the productions that I have. So I'm like, you know, do what you will, and then just go from there. Really,
I think there is a sort of kind of conscious feeling for some people, where some people really like want someone else to like kind of propel them into doing cool stuff, and unfortunately, as we've said, you can't have everything given to you on the silver platter. Like there was an experience a few weeks ago. I won't name names because it's not fair, and if they're listening to this, I do apologise, but I think it's a fair and valid conversation to have. But like, there are people who will constantly want you to lead up on running network events, running meetups, and for want of a better word, I don't think it's unfair to say that you should expect these things, but at the same time, everybody does their things for a reason. Like, I think one of my friends that read the conversations basically summed it up as like, they want you to do everything. And that's not how collaborations work or networking in general works. And I mean, like, me and you, Liv, have basically been back and forth on every bit of detail. When we work together, it's not all a one-sided situation, is it?
No, not at all.
And
collaboration's a collaboration.
Yeah, it's got to be best for all parties, hasn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Like, it did kind of annoy me a little bit, because like, when you're coming up on Instagram, you do put a lot of graft into, like, to build your followership, to build up who sees your page, and you don't expect everybody to come and message you every 5 minutes. You don't expect to be famous or anything like that. Like, by no means are we all famous here. There's, you know, we're famous within our little group of friends. Like, everyone knows who we are, kind of things. But like, there's a difference between that. And when some people come to you and expect everything to be given to you just like that, yeah, that's a deal breaker. I love running events, don't get me wrong. I run the portrait mission events, which we're hopefully going to be running again later on in the year, and obviously, you know, coming up with different collaboration ideas all the time and everything like that. But yeah, let's move out of that hole, because I feel like I'm going to dig a hole there if I keep going. I do get a bit annoyed with those things.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to move around a bit, but it was like a spider crawling up, and I was like, oh, cool.
I didn't even notice.
I was like, oh, cool, and it just kind of dropped. I went, oh, where did it go? And I wasn't freaking out. It was just, I was like, oh, I don't want to sit down and squish or anything, but I can't see it. So,
oh, that actually makes quite laugh, you know. So just I'm just having a little look at the notes that we've got here. So. I
mean, what sort of things have you got? Have you got anything planned? Or is there any ideas that you kind of seen and go, I really want to do that? Like, is there anything down in the line that you want to do in terms of makeup or hair or anything?
I'm really loving going down the whole fantasy route. Like I've done a few fantasy stuff with you now, Josh, haven't I? Just something that's just really like different, hasn't been seen before. I'm really enjoying my prosthetics. I would like to do more on that. I've had to slow it down recently because it's coming to the end of the year and I've got assignments due. It's that time of year.
You don't want to run into your time where you're learning.
Yeah, I've got the whole summer now to sort of make up some design plans and do some creative stuff. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep on doing, like headdresses and just cool things that haven't really been seen before, really.
I do love the headdresses that you've been doing. Like I'm obviously witnessed you doing it in the car on the way last Sunday. I'm like, you built all that, and it was cool. Like you built together something really nice.
In time as well. Just as I was parking up, I was like, right, headdress is done.
It's crazy.
That was a wing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just winging. I just bought some wire and some beads and some flowers. I was like, right, let's just give it a go.
The thing is, though, the fact that you decided to just do it there and then, and it was still something that was amazing, like, just shows that, like, you just took a chance, like, and that's something that creatives have to do all the time. They have to take chances. You feel like you have to take a leap of faith sometimes. Like, some shoots, you don't know 100% what it's going to come out as, like, because sometimes a shoot can go wrong, things can go out of, just, like, even people, like, dropping out of a shoot at last minute, that's the worst experience, that is. Or, like, your gear just having an issue. Like, I know somebody who went on a shoot a few weeks ago when it was raining, got caught out in the rain, and their camera nearly broke. So they definitely know to definitely either waterproof their camera or get waterproof gear for it, or just don't shoot in the rain at all, It's those little things, isn't it? Like, for example, Liv, you could have left a piece of makeup at home, a piece of the stuff that you need is just to do recoating, and like it could have been like, oh shit, how far are we away? Do we need to turn back, kind of thing? Those little things, isn't it, that make a shoot work?
I was walking because I used to work with a makeup artist that I'm friends with, and I was walking to hers at like 3 a.m, because I was off to London.
Oh,
and I was like, I feel like I've forgotten something, but I always
that
feel
gut feeling.
Like every single time I leave the house, I'm like, I've forgotten something. Anyway, I got to her house, and then I was like, oh no, my makeup brush is like the one thing that I really need. I was like, oh no, we had we had Ellie to come pick us up and drive us to London because she was on the shoot with us, and I was like, can you just drive back? I need my makeup brush. Had to be done because I couldn't go without, but yeah.
Oh,
and then a few times I did a shoot with Morgan. We was on the way there, and then I was like, oh, my makeup brushes again. We've got to go back.
Oh
no, they're always just on my desk, and they're just sort of part of the furniture, just sat there. So I just always focus on my kit and think, right, have I got everything in my kit? So I always take my kit with me, and then I'm like, my makeup brush is on my desk. I forgot. I do it so many times.
Honestly, I've been there so many times. One shoot I did a few years ago, I got to the shoot and I only had one battery, and I was like, I'll be fine. I'm charged up. Like, I know it's working, and I didn't have my charger with me either. It's like, really great idea, Josh. Don't take your charger with you just in case of any problems. For the context, I now take a charger with me, and I also take loads of batteries, so I have no fucking problems. So I'm always charging my shit, and it charges my power bank now, so I'm completely away from the wall if I need to be. But I ended up at the shoot, and I was taking the first few photos, and about 15 minutes in, the camera dies. I don't know why. Don't know whether the battery was faulty or something like that. Found out later it was faulty. But that could have been easily like passed over if I had another battery. I mean, yeah, if the camera had leaked, the battery had leaked into the camera, then that would have been fucked, and that would have been not my fault. That would have just been a technical problem. It happens. But as you say, like, if you have those things that you need crucially, and you don't, and you've completely forgotten about them, and like, what's that saying? Like, in the moment, you don't realise what you're doing. You've forgotten something, and you feel like there's something wrong. Like, I've done it so many times. I've left earphones at home before going to work, and like, going to work without a pair of headphones is brutal. You should never do it. Like, just never. You need music. Music keeps me sane at work. So, But
I
no,
never leave the house without my earphones.
it's like a rite of passage, isn't it? Like if you leave your headphones at home, it's like I'm getting off this buzz, or I'm getting out of this taxi. I'm going to run back for them now.
It's life and death.
That's the thing. Like as a creative, one of the things that keeps me calm, just going to a shoot or getting the mindset for a shoot is like if just having a bit of a playlist. Like I literally have a playlist of music just before I start a shoot. If I've got like 3 different playlists, and if I'm feeling one way, I'll play this one or that one. Like sometimes I don't have time to listen to a playlist before a shoot because I'll be meeting someone like the minute I get off public transport, or in our case, last weekend, I popped into Tesco to get some stuff ahead of the shoot. So like I just took my headphones out and I was flying around on a scooter, obviously.
Let's not talk about them blooming scooters.
Yeah, let's not talk about the scooters. We're going to trigger you otherwise, aren't we? Bad memories, guys. Bad memories, but they are good scooters. They are. No, so yeah, but honestly, like when you look at the grand scheme of things, you know, there's a lot of variables that can go wrong in stuff like that. Like, was that like your worst experience for getting your makeup brushes, or was there a worse one than that?
Well, let's put it this way. Let's do a would you rather situation.
Ooh.
Would you rather leave your paintbrushes and having to do that, or have to deal with a really shitty person and how to do that?
Ooh.
Like, I know that's a really weird thing to say, but it's just kind of like, what would you like weigh it up? Like, would you it's just like, could you have you ever, like, you don't have to name names. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, have you ever dealt with somebody who is really difficult to work with?
I have 100 times whilst hairdressing, because I've been hairdressing over 5 years. I've dealt with so many horrible customers.
Right.
Makeup wise, I haven't dealt with any, I don't think. No.
Or do you just blocked it in the back of your head? It's like, no, I don't want to remember it. So.
I feel like because with makeup, you can just take it off. Like if they don't like it, something, you can take it off. It's not a big deal. But with hair, it's more of like a serious matter. So I haven't dealt, touch wood, with any horrible people doing makeup. I know I will at some point. I'm just preparing myself for it. But so far, like, because I'm quite like picky with who I work with as well. And everyone's been like so lovely, to be fair. But in hairdressing, yeah, I've dealt with some real like interesting.
What do you do? Like, if they've like been really shitty, do you just purposely like give them a bald patch?
I felt like it so many times. I'm like, you're speaking to someone who's got a pair of scissors in their hand. Like, do you know what I can do to you? But obviously, yeah, I like try and keep it professional. And like, I'm so bad, like, because if someone's talking to me like really badly, I go into this mode where I'm like extra nice to them because I'm then a bit scared. I'm like, oh, I've got to be extra nice to you. But I shouldn't. I should sometimes do it back a little bit. Like I've had, you know, like my boss say to me, like, you was too nice to that person. Like she spoke to you awfully. Like I wouldn't have been that nice to her. And it's like, oh, well, am I allowed to then? Because
they're giving the motive.
Especially the one I am now. It's quite small, so like you can hear each other's conversations. So when someone's being nasty to me, the salon goes quiet because I feel like the stylist and the clients are all listening in, and then it makes me feel really awkward because I'm like, okay, everyone can hear what I'm saying now. It's just really awkward.
It is awkward when you've got such a small space that you're working in. I mean, to be fair, in general, most hairdressers and barbers are not exactly large places, so it makes it a bit more difficult. And obviously, COVID involved, you've got so much room that you can have between everybody, so it probably gets pretty tense in there. And like when you add on people being arrogant, and basically, let's be honest here, just fucking assholes. Let's be blunt about it. You struggle to wonder whether you can be a little bit flippant with them. Is that taking it too far, professionalism? And then, as you say, then you've got like managers or bosses going, oh, they were too horrible to you. You could have been a little bit horrible to them. But is that what you're telling me is right, or are you just jokingly telling me it?
I think if they're like really in the wrong, you shouldn't be nice to them. And I just have a habit of just like being nice to them because I want them to be happy. I want them.
I used to be like, honestly, I used to be like that. But now, for the past year or so, I've slowly gone to the part. I'm like, you know what? If you're going to be really shitty back, I'm just going to be like, you're an absolute see you next Tuesday. Fuck you. Fuck yourself.
Yeah. And I'd rather them not come back if they're going to be horrible. Like, I don't want to see it.
But that's the
again.
thing. Like, I love how when they always go like, "I'm going to give you a bad review," and I'm like, "Go ahead, make my day."
Go ahead. Your review, your nasty review will be one of not many others, and
it'll make it so much easier to just point out, like, if I know that this is the person I dealt with, I'll be like, don't listen to this. See you next Tuesday.
Because there will be people who complain about every aspect of life. Let's be frank here. There's whole subreddits on Reddit of people complaining with 1-star reviews on Google and TripAdvisor. But like, I mean, I've even had like people talk about my photography behind my back. Who respect my work? I thought they respect my work. You know, not to name names, but like, but when you hear it from people, you're just like, I thought that they had better respect for me. You know, they don't talk shit. Like, there's one thing to be one person in front of somebody and then be another person to someone else. Like, it's very.
Well, the thing is, I'd rather they be criticizing my work up to my face rather than behind my back. You know, because at least they're being honest with me.
Yeah.
But if they're like saying, "Oh yeah, you're doing amazingly" or whatever, and then they just go up to other people, and be like, "Oh, look at this shit right here," and I'm just I'm like, really? Like, you don't think I'll be able to take like the criticism from you? All right, well. If you're going to be that way, then I just know not to work with you next time. And I've dealt with those people as well. It's just sort of like, well, if you're going to be like that, then okay.
I must be honest. I have not had many bad experiences with models. Actually, I haven't. I don't think I've had a bad one at all. Like, I've heard of people who have like basically been so flippant with people, like they want the photos back this second, and they've literally only just got home. The photographer has, like, come on, give the photographer a break. Like, if there's one thing that I think is underappreciated for all creatives, is that if you're delivering a product at the end, like in, say, like a movie or a photography, you know, or like just, you know, even with makeup, like maybe like you're gonna do a new makeup look for like a part 2 of the shoot, or a part like an extra additions and stuff like that. You need to give time to that creative before you can move along and continue, because like for me, photography is brilliant, it's great, but when it comes to editing, it can be a slog. It can be a right pain in the backside. It takes more time than people think it takes, and it's not just clicking a button with a camera and then going home and pressing a few buttons, like using
you just have like presets already done for you, and it's not the case.
Yeah, like, they just think, oh my god, here's my phone, I'm just gonna press one button here and oh, the photo's done, hon, here you go. You know.
No, it doesn't work that way. No, not at all.
And like,
to be honest, I've had more prima donnas from the acting side of things, because they've honestly, like, even from extras, I'm like, I can't believe you're fucking complaining about, like, you're supposed to get this whole sort of, you know, VIP treatment, when you're like, we're like, so there's the actors, and then there's the crew, then there's the, you know, ADs and PAs and whatever, and then there's the other people. And then there's us, like, we're at the very bottom, and I'm like, you're complaining about the food, like your hair, like your costume or whatever. Like, get the fuck out of here, like, seriously. So
it's a massive industry. Like, as you were saying, Liv, like, the one way to piss somebody off is to complain about the smallest things. But like, obviously, there's no way of there's obviously there's problems. Like, let's say if you had a problem with the way I took a photo, like, I want you to be honest with me, and I know you would be honest with me. Like, you say, oh, can you take a photo from this angle instead, or that angle, or if there's something wrong with the photo in the editing phase. It links back into the fact that we're collabing. Like, if I say no to you, am I really giving you my part of the collab? I'm not really, am I?
No, when I'm on a shoot, I'm always stood in a position and I'm like, oh, I feel like the way I'm stood is a good photo right now.
That's it. Like, you'll see as you've been doing, you know, your makeup, doing your hair, like, you've started to learn little bits about photography. You've been doing studio day stuff. You've even sat down with me to have a little look at a few photos. I've helped you edit some stuff. Like, you really do link into that sort of stuff anyway when you're doing creative makeup and hair, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing photography at uni at the minute, but I still have no idea. Like, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I'm just like doing with what the settings on the camera already are and just clicking the button, really. Like, I've got no idea. So, like, yeah, I appreciate you guys' work. Like, it's a difficult thing, photography, definitely. But with you, like, I feel like you edit pictures so quickly anyway. So I know you was just saying, oh, you edit them so quickly. Like I've waited months and months and months from people. Like I get them always with you within like the week. So on that stage, like it's really good.
I think the one thing that like annoys me is that other photographers say, "Oh, I'll be done in like a week or two," and then that comes and passes. Like for me, I don't want to give a massive expectation of photos being done this second or next week or the week after. Like I've had models wait up to 3 weeks and they've been happy to wait because they know they're gonna get the results. Like yeah, I sent you access to the photos from our shoot last weekend. I've sent the model as well. The model hasn't got round to it unfortunately yet. I guess she just has a busy week at the minute. But like you already went in literally on Monday and started tapping a few it was either Monday or Tuesday I think. Tapped a few photos on the Lightroom album, and I noticed them at lunchtime today. Started editing them, and you had, was it 4 or 5 edits back already?
Yeah, I like that you send the rules and say like pick say 5 of your favorites. Like I think that's a really good thing in a photographer if they send you the rules and say like pick 5 of your favorites, because sometimes you'll only get 5 and then it might not be like the ones you want. Like for me, I might be like, oh, you can't actually see like any of the makeup in that, and yeah, because like you look at different things as to what I look at in photos, so it is nice being able to choose the ones that I like as well.
I like the way I've gone about editing as well recently. Like I've been focused on doing a lot more closer up shots, and that kind of led in nicely into when we started shooting together, because I was focused on close up details, so like I understand bringing the makeup to life, like making the model's eyes like a little bit more lighter, because obviously lighting isn't always the easiest thing to handle. So sometimes bringing a little bit of light back into their eyes to match the makeup as well, like is it's A1, you want it to be like that. But I get what you mean. Like I don't send out raws to people in general, but like I send them in the rawest form they are through the Lightroom album. It's one of the best ways to do it. Like I don't think I've said it on this podcast. I might have said it on the Get the Shot podcast that it's on hiatus at the minute, obviously. But like I literally will send out an album access to whether it's You Live, whether it's a model, maybe even a photographer that wants to look, who's been with the shoot as well. They can have a little look themselves, see what I took, and I try and stick to about 10 to 20 first edits, and I get you to log in, just tap a few that you like. I know it's always very hard for every model and everyone involved. Like they always say, "Oh, you've taken so many great photos." I'm like, it's so humbling, it's so lovely, but I know that like if I give full reign and say go for it, as many as you like, I know I'm going to be just scrolling for days to edit, and then that's when I fall behind. So, but I just don't like editing photos without any input from the makeup artist or the model even. I feel like you guys get a better deal out of the collaboration. If it was a pay shoot, maybe it'd be a bit differently. Some pay shoots, like you get what you're given. It's just the way it is. But like because it's a collaboration, I feel like it's fair to put forward the best, put my best face forward. Like let you have a bit of reign over what you see, and if you want more photos later on after I've edited them, why not? I've given up to 25 different edits to one model in the past, so it's, for me, it doesn't mind. Yeah.
I don't know how you've got so much storage on your computer. Like I was trying to put those photos from editorial and it just wasn't happening. I was like, there's just too many.
Yes. I mean, I don't. Thankfully, I don't have to struggle with. I will have to struggle with space at some point, but because my photos are all on Lightroom, they all synced up to Lightroom's. So I got the 1 terabyte plan for those who are interested. I think it's literally just called the photography plan or something like that on Adobe.
I've looked at that myself. So
just shy of £10 a month, but you get a terabyte with it. So I'm gonna have to upgrade to 2 terabytes at some point, because I think I am already halfway through my storage. And one of the things that people don't realise as well, when you upload through an iPad and not through the computer, it it puts it into cache on your device until it finishes uploading. So at some point I have to keep clearing my storage on here because my iPad only has 64 gigs. So I am limited by my space, and I've got 5 gig, just under 5 gigs free right now, because 8 gigs of that is cached from the last 3 shoots I've done. So I'll have to clear that at some point, and every time I go into a photo, it'll re-download the smart preview for it. But yeah, let's have a look how many I've got here. It's going to be a bit mad, this is. I have... So out of a terabyte, I've got just above 500 gigabytes left. I've got nearly 20,000 photos on my thing. That's not obviously just portraits. That's also other things like photos I've taken landscape-wise. But yeah, nearly 20,000 photos in 2 years is pretty mad. That's pretty mad.
That's crazy.
Wow. You know, actually, let's think about it. It's like how, like, in terms of like how much have you done? So obviously, how many photos I've got. Yeah. What's the most complex makeup that you've had to do in the past for someone? Whether was it for a shoot, or was it what was it? It was for something, but was it at uni, or was it like for a collaboration or something?
Probably the, like, you know, the sea life where I had the tentacles going up. Because I was on a time restraint and I stupidly spent too much time at the beginning putting contact lenses in.
Ooh.
And I nearly gave up. I was like, right, I've wasted 20 minutes on contact lenses. Like, do I continue trying or do I just sack it off? And then in the last minute, I got them in and I was like, right, contacts are in, let's get cracking. And everybody had already started and I was like, oh gosh. So it's probably that, because it was like, it's a big painted thing and then you've got to do the hair in that time as well. So, and because it was for assessment, you've also got the added pressure of, I'm getting assessed on this.
Ooh.
It's got to be good. So probably that, I would say.
Was that in the first year, was it, or the second year?
That was this year, the start of this year.
Wow. So with everything going on at the start of the year, obviously coming into lockdown and everything like that, you was tasked with quite a big one to try and do, wasn't you?
Yeah, and because it was like when COVID was quite high, you've got to make sure that you're working hygienically, that the lecturers see you, decant all the products. They had this stupid rule where to use an eyeshadow, even if it was your own palette, you had to get a cotton pad, put tissue over it, dip that into the eyeshadow, and then use that as a palette.
Wow.
So you're working off a little bit of eyeshadow on a tissue.
Oh, God.
Just ridiculous.
That doesn't sound very well thought through, if you ask me at all.
It's not. Every time I let you look away, I'll just like dip it into the eyeshadow. Like, I'm just not following that rule. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, you've got to take your shoes off when you get into class. Change your shoes." And it's like, what? Do you want me to have a shower as well? Like, what the hell?
That sounds like the scientists who have to go for like a decontamination chamber. It's like, okay, guys, we're clean now.
They were so serious about it. Like, take your shoes off. Like, what?
That just sounds like a household thing. Take your shoes off, not a going into class sort of thing.
It's like, what is that noise going to interrupt the whole makeup process? Okay, all right.
Apparently, you're gonna get your foot in the air and be like, "Hey, I'm all over with my makeup."
We couldn't have nails either. They were like, "Oh, COVID gets in your nails." It's like,
COVID. So apparently, you could do like a zombie thing. You could scratch someone and go, "Oh."
So let me get this straight. So nails, like you have to cut your nails. You can't have shoes. So what next? Like, you can't
no
have
clothes, yeah.
No eyebrows, no hair, no eyelashes, no nothing. Yeah.
Right. COVID's in your hair as well, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna go by a lot of logic, just might as well just have no hair whatsoever. So
basically just come down to the bare minimum.
Just strip naked. That's it. That's it.
It is quite interesting, really, to see how different creative industries have dealt with COVID. Honestly, like not to talk about that bad penny as we always do on this podcast. Because for those who don't know, and actually you maybe didn't know this, Liv, but we started this podcast during COVID, so it's always been a subject that we can never escape.
Well, as long as it's still around, there's like it's still gonna linger on like a fucking parasite. So it's just as long as people are gonna get vaccinated or at least do their part, then it's always going to be a lingering thing we have to deal with. And it's like when I had to go on set on Tuesday and back in February, like we have COVID guidelines to kind of adhere to.
Mm.
And it's something that we all have to get used to, and we're always going to have that one person that says that going to make a fool of themselves, that they're not going to wear a mask, and they say because they got vaccinated therefore they don't need to wear a mask. And it's like, yeah, all right, well, Joe Biden may say that in America, but here, like, you have to still wear a mask.
Yeah, we still have to listen to Bozo here. We do, Mr. Bozza.
The person who told they'd rather not have another lockdown and let the bodies pile up. All right then.
Because that wasn't depressing enough, was it, to hear?
I was in London when COVID was really bad, and it was like a big shoot, and a model sat there waiting for makeup, and she didn't have a mask on. And she was very much, I'm not wearing a mask because I had COVID 2 months ago, so I'm immune. And I was thinking,
that's not how it works.
2 months ago, but I'm still wearing a mask.
Like, literally, when we're shooting together, like, yeah, you might be with me and the model throughout the day, but if you're going to do any promotional stuff, you have to get the mask straight on, because otherwise someone could easily say to you, you're not being professional, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, doing makeup, they can't wear a mask, so I feel like I'm just going to get it anyway, because I'm that close to you. And
well, for you, do you have to wear a mask and then a visor? Because that's what the makeup people do on film TV sets. So they just wear both a mask or and a visor, or just a visor.
I did have to do lateral flow testing at work back in March when we were able to go back to work, and I did that for like 4 straight weeks. I remember telling you Owen about it, and obviously I said it on the podcast. Jesus Christ, it is one of the most sweatiest jobs to do. It is, because even if it was still winter practically, like not even spring yet, and like you'd be there in your basically your gown and your visor and every other bollocking bit that you have to carry and wear, and like it gets too much. It does, it really does. Like, I'm sure when you were like doing like different things at uni, Liv, like you had all that strenuous stuff as well. Like apart from the gown and stuff like that, I don't know if you had to have the head visor as well.
Yeah, you've got to be all PP'd up, and like I say, like even without COVID, you're decanting products anyway. You're using disposables so that nothing is cross-contaminated. So
because you could still get infections from things between makeup and stuff like that, couldn't you?
Well, it's just about sharing, like the risk of sharing like brushes, and you have to like sanitize them, and there's a new sort of procedure it's probably gonna be something that will be implemented for a very long time. Until this dies down. That's the one thing I don't think people realize, is that we're still going to have to implement like certain guidelines just to make sure it's extra safe. And I mean, I know people like don't want to talk about it, but it's just it is what it is. So
do you guys think that like COVID has really kind of like opened our eyes to like let's put it in like a creative perspective, like do you think it has really made people think a lot more about how clean they are with what they're doing? Like, do you feel like that your industry's picking a better understanding of it now, Liv? Like, do you feel like before and after has gone like, okay, this is not right, this shouldn't have happened, but people won't pick up on it, but because of COVID, they've got no choice but to pick up on it now?
Yeah, like when people are sat on the makeup chair, they literally are watching everything you do. Like, you have to make it clear that you are being hygienic. Like last year at uni, we would get marked down as well. Even before COVID, we would get marked down if we're working messy. Like if our station is a mess and it doesn't look clean and tidy, you'll get marked down. If you come into uni with dirty brushes, don't expect a good grade. It's not going to happen. Like, you've got to be working clean, which is really hard for me because I'm like the messiest person ever.
I can feel you on that. I'm quite messy. Like whenever I get my gear out at home, like I live with my parents, and my mum will probably walk in at one point while I'm doing something else. Like, she's like, "Your room is a mess." I'm like, my argument's always like, "My room's small, mum. I can't. I need to have floating space for everything." Like, it's like going with the dirt house on Minecraft. Like, you got the most minimal room. Like, that's how my room feels. It feels like the most basic bitch room you could have, and I just can't deal with it. But like, yeah, like I mean, right now I've got the window open because it's so hot in here. But for me, like, I'm terrible with my gear as well. Like, it's probably part of the reason why like I run back to my house quite regularly before I get the bus. I'm like, shit, it's like 5 minutes to the bus. Right, okay, I need to run back house, get that gear, and get out the door again. Like, I've actually like I nearly forgot my camera once before I was on the shoot. Like, So for those who don't know, who've never met me, I carry a bag and I carry my camera bag separately inside. So like sometimes I can just satchel it for the shoot because I'm just trying to go into a backpack behind you. It's like so fucking awkward, and I don't want to pay like hundreds of pounds to get one of those ones where you can just twist it round and grab it. Because like, why do you need to pay that sort of money? You know. But yeah, it is a problem because if I don't put my camera back in the bag, I ain't shooting nothing. I'm like, yeah, iPhone shoot? No, not professional, can't do that.
Do you ever get scared that you're going to get mugged?
You know what, that's actually a very valid question. You know, I know of people who've been mugged, like, just out, even whether they're on their own or with other people, like, in places like London. Like, I've been, like, I finished a shoot at, like, 1 a.m. in the past, I have. And I've been walking around with the model at, like, 2 in the morning at that point. And we're like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. We should probably like get to like somewhere safe now. And like, you know, it doesn't kick in until the moment that you're in a bit of a sticky one. And like, you just see people in the distance walking your way. Like, I don't care whether they're just dog walkers or someone out just on a late night jog or something. Like, I'm fucking moving into that light like as quickly as possible out of the shadows. But no, I've had nothing bad happen to me as a photographer. You know, touch wood. But I mean, have you had any bad experiences on your travels with your gear at all, both of you?
I
You've
No,
been lucky. Oh, well.
no, not at all.
Definitely touch wood on that one, everyone. Then there's definitely a fear. There is a fear beyond that. Like obviously, like there is so many different experiences that people hear of, but like it's a scary thought. Like I could have at any one point about £1,000 plus worth of stuff on me. It's scary. Like this iPad alone is already £750. My camera probably about £400. iPhone even that's £1,000. You know.
Yeah, my phone is like just over like a grand or however much it is, and then I've got my AirPods Pros.
Oh god, yeah, me too. Ugh.
And then I've got my key organizer, which has a tracker and a memory stick. And I've got my bag.
Everything has a price tag in it. Let's be frank here. We are all walking out with a money tree on us constantly, expecting the best out of life. And there's times when you're just like, yeah, this is a bit scary. Like even now, I get paranoid. Like even after midnight, I think my paranoia switches at midnight quite regularly. Like probably a good example would probably be a few weeks ago. I was coming back from a shoot really late night, and you know, you have your parents like telling you like don't come back too late because like you'll regret it, like, you know, sleep and everything like that. But then obviously that's that niggle in you that's like, yeah, it's okay, I'm gonna be back before this time, no problem. And I missed the last bus home, so I had no choice but to get an Uber back home. And we've all heard the stories about, and obviously the stuff that's come out of Uber drivers. You know, bad things happen with Uber drivers. I mean, a friend a few weeks ago literally had to get out of an Uber really quickly because it was that the driver was basically just talking shit.
It being inappropriate. Okay.
Being very inappropriate. But no, like there's this Uber driver. I got in with the Uber driver, and he sounded like he was having an argument with his girlfriend on the phone. I'm just like, do I really want to get in this Uber? I was like, well, I don't know when the next Uber is going to be available, and like it's already like surge charge right now because it was the same night as people going out clubbing. So, we'll go going to sit down stuff, and I'm like, I ain't dealing with this shit. Let's just get in and go. 5 minutes down the road, I'm just like, I can't take this anymore. He's literally like shouting at his girlfriend. I'm like, why are you shouting at your girlfriend?
Yeah, that's not the.
I'm in your
that's not
fucking
the best
backseat.
time.
I can't be dealing with this.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Yeah, I personally just would have just said something. I'm like, yeah, I would just be open. Like, I'll just say I'm going to cancel the ride, and then I'll just say I'm really sorry, but you.
Yeah, that's what I did. I literally goes, oh, sorry, I'm really sorry about this, but one of my friends has contacted me and asked me if I can go to theirs, so I'm gonna have to cancel this journey because they're only around the corner. So
should have just been honest.
Oh no, just be honest. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're making me uncomfortable by yelling at your partner on your phone.
I don't know what it is, but like confrontation, I'm really difficult with. Like I can be the most chatty and bubbly person, and I can have an argument with somebody, but when confrontation is at its height, I cringe. I scare, and I'm like, fuck that. I don't care what excuse I say.
I think it's just
I'd rather do
because
that.
because I used to work in retail, and then now I'm dealing with patients. I just tell them upright. So if they're going to be really shitty with me, I'm just going to be like, look,
I'll just stab you with loads of injections.
Yeah, I'm just going to overdose you. No. No, it basically they just tell me like because for example, like one person sat down and I don't know how they got all the way from like being self-assessed and being given this card and been, because the thing is like when they've been that by this point they've already checked in and they know which vaccine they're going to get.
Oh,
and
no.
they've been self-assessed, they've been talked to by somebody, and they sit down and I just say to them, "How are you doing?" And then they go, and then they say, "I'm going to get this vaccine," and I go, "No, it's this vaccine," and they just go, "Oh, well, I want this vaccine," and I'm like, "Well, you don't really get a choice." Honestly.
I think those people are just so like snobby, entitled. They think that they get everything that they want when they say it.
And I'm like, I say to them, I just say to them, like, well, listen, like you either got a couple of choices. Like one, you either just own it and just get the vaccine, and that's what you're going to get, or you go back to a self-assessment and just say you would rather have this vaccine, and then you got a 50-50 chance on either getting it or you don't. Or three, you cancel this appointment, you talk to the GP and say you want this vaccine instead, and they'll book you the next available appointment, which will be God knows what. So make your choice.
I don't think really people should be complaining about it, because the fact, like, I mean, I was over the moon that I got called up for my vaccine early last weekend. Like, I had my reservations because obviously I was doing a shoot the very same day with You Live, and then I was in London the next day, so I was expecting a very dead arm. I was a bit concerned about it, but I mean, I got through the worst. I did. I had a dead arm on the Sunday. At one point, someone inadvertently slapped my arm, and it hurt for a few moments. They know who they am. But we won't go there because I ain't about bringing people up about stuff like that. But you know, yeah, I don't know what you need to complain about. What options you get, like the fact that I got given one to me because I got a text from my local GP. I was like, I ain't taking any liberties here. I'm just having it. Have it now.
Yeah, I mean and also you just get certain people that it's now more. I had a friend of mine that she originally did not want the vaccine, but because she wanted to go to a certain country, which I can't remember, she said, yeah, it would be a lot more hassle if she didn't take the vaccine. So she just took the vaccine because of it. And I'm now getting we had a few patients that they said they didn't want the vaccine, but because they wanted to go traveling, they just getting the vaccine. So I just go, oh well, think of it this way: you're being more safe than doing more harm. I'll just put it that way. And then they just go, well, you know, the things I heard that I think otherwise. And I go, well, don't believe what you hear. So I'm like, right, left or right arm. That's it.
Give me your arm.
That's it. Give me your arm.
Shut your face up. So
that's it. Yeah. Good question.
But anyway, yeah. So it's just, with people, like, you just have to kind of go along with it, that sort of thing, and just be grateful for what they're doing and what they're here for. So it's just,
oh yeah, I think there's a lot of to go off of that, really. There is a lot of people in the creative industry who can be very for want of better words, that's like demanding, obnoxious, yeah, basically demanding, obnoxious, I think. And like sometimes to navigate around those experiences is very difficult. I've been through a few of them. I'm sure you have lived, or you have, Owen. I mean, we've kind of touched on this already, to be fair. But yeah, like the big overarching thing really is that you've got to basically have balls for a lot of the stuff in the things that go on. Like you have to firm a lot of it. Like there are times when you can literally, I think that it's fair that you can blast off at somebody, and I'd be there clapping the person doing that, because I think it's fair. Like you shouldn't have to bottle it up all the time. And you've got to be honest with people. And you know what? If you lose that connection with that person, then so be it. You know, maybe
I've done that a few times. Yeah,
maybe they weren't meant to be with your journey, right?
No, I've done that a few times where whether it's they took took advantage of my generosity, or they had an opinion that I just was not comfortable with, and I just gave no explanation. I just went, right, that's it, just unfriend them, and that's it. You don't owe them anything,
Mm.
and that's it.
Well, say, have you had like, Liv? Have you had like any like bad experiences with like setting up collaboration for anybody recently, or have you like had any like moments where you're like, I'm kind of glad I didn't contact that person in the end, or stuff like that? Like, it's quite natural those kind of things happen, don't they, as you continue through your progression?
Yeah, like I've worked with people who've been quite rude to other creatives, and then it makes you feel awkward because you're like, oh, like it's just
I just
rude.
want
Like
to
if
do my
someone's,
job.
yeah, if someone's like helping you out and working for you for free, and it's a collaboration, like you cannot be rude to people. Do you know what I mean? So I've sort of stopped working with people who I thought has been a little bit rude at times, and it puts a bad image on you as well because you're like part of the team. So
Yeah, it's better not to, like just get to a point where like you have to separate yourself because you're going to get under fire from other people because you've been working with them and they've had a bad rap, and it just spirals, doesn't it?
yeah, definitely. I'm sort of just being picky now, like who I work with and stuff.
Which is completely natural. It's fine to be picky. Like, I think everybody ends up getting quite a thick skin in the end, and I think that links into just understanding which people you're going to get good work out of, and the people that you gel with. There's no way we'd be working together if you didn't think that my ideas and your ideas didn't come together well enough. Like, if I was saying one thing about your work that you was not comfortable with, or if I was just being a lousy communicator or something like that, like, I'll be honest, I probably am an over communicator. Some people are quite bubbly and shy and they just can't help themselves. Like, I'll hold my hands up there. But if you weren't honest with me, I wouldn't have felt like we had a good collaboration. And I'm sure the same with you. Like, if I was not giving you photos, or giving you direction on things, or like just the little things that make everything work.
Yeah, like I've worked with a photographer once, never seen the photos, never gave them.
Oh wow.
And after months and months, I was just like, right, I'm just gonna name him on Instagram and be like, don't work with this person, never get the photos, and thought maybe he'd give them to me after that. But he just seen it.
I presume
Still
that
didn't get the
you
photos.
tried to reach out to him, say, hey, where the
Yeah,
photos are.
numerous times. Me, the model, the other makeup artist I was working with, numerous times we were like, look, it's been 5 months now. Like, can we please
Jesus.
have the pictures? Even if they're not edited, like, please just something. And he
Yeah.
just literally kept saying, yeah, I'll send them to you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll send them to you
Uh,
tomorrow.
I hate those type
Oh
of
god,
people.
he just basically kept gaslighting you, saying, giving you the tiniest bit of hope, and then
Well, it's not gaslighting. It's just simply just wasting your fucking time.
yeah,
And
ghosting people. It's just a wrong thing.
you just kind of go like norm and nowadays, like if somebody did that, I would just send a huge, like, because normally you just go, oh, fuck you, like, just move on. But nowadays I just make them I just make sure they know what they're doing. I'm like, dude, you cannot do this. Like,
Yeah, have you got much to lose at this point? Just basically just tell them
no,
what I
exactly.
think about you. Goodbye.
I might thinking like, okay, next time, like, don't promise something if you're not going to deliver.
Yeah, don't under-deliver.
And it's just like, and it's just fucking rude, like, to not even be communicating people. I would rather you say, look, I've got a lot on my plate, and it's just taking longer than I expected, or whatever it is. Like, I would rather appreciate that than you, like your example, say, oh yeah, don't worry, it'll be ready tomorrow and this and that. And it's just like, dude, like, it's been like X amount of months, like, where is it? And they will be like, oh yeah, it's coming your way. And I would just be like, I'm like, and I literally have done that in the past where somebody promised me to do a shoot with me, and they kept posting it on Instagram, on
Oh
Purple
no,
Port,
no.
and I kept saying, look, I'm available. I can get to this location easily. So just let me know. And I'm like, yeah, don't worry. I've already got booked a shoot. So the next one I'll shoot with you. And he'd done that like 2 more times. And I just said to him outright, saying, look, if you don't want to shoot with me, I'd rather you say so rather than keep promising me a shoot that is never going to happen. And he did the whole thing where like, look, sorry mate, like I'm just being really busy and everything. And I'm like, you keep saying that, but every time you keep saying the next shoot that after this will be the next one, but it doesn't happen. And I see that you just post stuff on Purple Paw and on Instagram, and he tried to do that thing where he just felt like, oh well, somebody's got a lot more time on their hands. And I'm like, oh fuck off, dude. So
I hate people
yeah.
like that. They're so full of
They're
themselves.
trying to make you feel like you're bad. That's like gaslighting right there. It's just like, oh, it's like, oh, well, somebody's got a lot. And I'm like, well, good luck in the future. I'm like, yeah, go fuck yourself, dude. All right, okay.
I think the problem is that some people get too big for their boots. That's the best way of putting it. Like, and like I've had people that I've been good friends with, and I've decided just to let them pass on their way, because like honestly, I felt like that they weren't really contributing much to either our friendship or just networking in general, and future things. I'm just like, well, you can say goodbye to yourself. I don't want anything to do with you. Like,
take the trash out itself. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, and I think it. If anything, actually, it opens you up to feeling a lot better immediately by just saying the things that you need to say and just sacking them off, because it makes me think of when you're younger, when you go to school, you go to college, you go to uni. There are friends that you will make there that you may never ever speak to again after you finish those locations where you are at those places, and it's just a thing of life, right? But when it comes to people that pass through your life in different things, like you do creative or go sports or something like those ones tend to stick a bit longer. But like the ones that really like don't stick are the people that just expect everything from you, or just if they want to work, they only want to work with you when they want to work with you. Like it's not when you're interested or anything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I've got a big question for you, Liv. Maybe I'm putting you on the spot. I don't know, but I think it's probably a good place to actually like to round up the episode as well. Like, so this will be a two-pronged question. So the first one: what is your dream makeup hair shoot? Like, is there somewhere you would like to do it? Like, say, like Fashion Week, or I don't know. What Sky thinking? Where would you like? Have you seen something that really takes your fancy?
As much as Fashion Week sounds amazing, it would just be so stressful. Like, you've got to do your makeup so quick. Everyone is stressed around you. It would just be a stressful day. So I'm not massively about Fashion Week. I don't really know. Oh, I really want to work for TV and film. I don't know if that's
I can see that, because you obviously you said the fantasy side is really like good for you. You enjoy it.
Like when we did the shoot with Alice and Poppy, like sometimes I just get so into it, and it sends me into a daydream. Like I get so into the shoot. Like, so to be on a film set, I would just seeing that come to life would just be amazing.
It was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did feel like we was kind of on a film set with the Poppy shoot. Having that long walk to the waterfall and stuff, and it just felt very Game of Thronesy, and I really enjoyed that day, even though the hike was a hike, but it was worth it.
Yeah, you sometimes the graft is part of the final product.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think that there's a couple makeup artists that you should follow on Instagram. First one is Kazuhiro, who recently won the 2 Oscars for his makeup for Bombshell and Darkest Hour, when he did the makeup for Gary Oldman turning into Winston Churchill.
Oh wow!
And he's a protege of this of a legendary makeup artist named Rick Baker, and he's basically the one who was responsible for the Academy Awards to create the best makeup. Well, now it was back then it was just best makeup, and now it's best makeup and hair. And that was back in 1981. Wow. So I mean, this guy is an absolute legend. So definitely check those two out if you want to get a bit more of inspiration of anything like prosthetics, or even just simple makeup and hair. So because that's what they usually do. So yeah, I mean, it's just so much fun, and I've even spoken to a lot of the makeup and hair people when I'm on film and TV sets, just to talk to them, just kind of, either just a casual chat or just, and they're
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
I think that's something that you definitely should do, because like it can be quite a lonely job. It can sometimes when you're on set and like the actors just sitting there getting their face and their hair done, and like they're just there, they're doing a job there, but like like they can talk to you as well. Like then it makes their day a little bit more exciting. Like I know Simon Pegg always talks to his makeup artist and his hairstylist.
yeah, I mean,
Conversations.
and just like with acting, like if you're doing makeup and hair, you're always doing something different. So whether it's going to be a sci-fi or horror or just a drama or like something like a fantasy, just anything. So if you make yourself as versatile as openly possible, then I think you can easily they can just swoop you up and be part of the team any day. So
I think that's something like we spoke about, obviously, like the sort of was it the holographic look that we spoke about a few weeks ago, Liv. Like that's like almost like kind of like tipping into like the sort of sci-fi side, like getting very close to movies and TV shows and games. So like you are dipping your toes quite close to that, also with fantasy stuff as well. So like yeah, like could easily see us doing like a Game of Thrones themed shoot, stuff like that. Like we're already looking into one about Narnia, but I won't say any more because I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil it. If you've listened to the podcast this far, then you've got that little nugget, the tiniest little nugget, because I don't want to let Liv's dream be out there already. Yeah. Final thing for you. I think it's something that is interesting. I think it'll be something to ask our guests going forward. What is your dream like place to go in the world? Like it doesn't have to be to do with makeup or hair. Like your dream place. Like what would you do? Kind of thing. Like
oh, don't tease them because they can't go anywhere right now.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, sorry. I just realised that. Yeah, we had this question on the Get the Shot podcast. Like it's like you got an unlimited budget. Where do you go? Photography. What you're shooting on? Like where you're going? That kind of thing. But like.
Right,
well, I've got two things on my bucket list that I do want to make happen.
Mm.
One, work on a cruise ship, and two, work in Australia for a bit.
Okay.
Because you can both get hairdressing jobs quite easily on a cruise ship and in Australia.
Whereabouts do you want to be? Like Sydney, Melbourne, or just anywhere?
Just anywhere, really. It's just been nice to be abroad with the sun, to be honest.
I mean, we're getting our nice taste of it this week. We're having a heat wave in the UK. Well, what we consider a heat wave, at least.
Yeah, I mean, a few of my Australian friends, they're just getting into winter right now. So,
yeah,
I mean, Melbourne especially. I arrived in about around, I think it was about July, and it was just shitty weather for the most part, and I had to wait for the spring to come up, and the spring you're looking at between 30 to 40 degrees.
Shit.
So
I don't think I could deal with Australia being nasty weather like back home. Like I know that they get really bad thunderstorms when the weather's not great.
oh well, I mean, I haven't really had anything those problems. I mean, anywhere else like Sydney, Gold Coast, and anywhere like it's just mostly sunny and whatever all day. But it's just Melbourne for some strange reason. Like it's just they do get rain, and it sucks. And but yeah, when the sun hits, it really hits. Like it's just so hot, and
hence why a lot of us like to go there.
So, but yeah, like it's just my encounters with like snakes and possums and bats and all that. So it's fun times.
Yeah, but yeah, and say I think we're very much there, ready to wrap up. And say, Liv, have you got anything you'd like to say to any budding people out there that wanted to get into makeup and hair? What's the one thing that you'd tell them?
Just keep going, because at any point you're going to feel like ready to give up or feel like you're not good enough or you're not really getting anywhere, or feel like, oh, I'm just not going to achieve the dreams because it's so difficult. There's so many people trying to get into it. Like I've had all those thoughts myself, like continuously, but you've literally just got to keep trying. Like when you feel like that, be like, right, I'm going to sit at my desk and I'm going to plan a look and I'm going to do it and it's going to be really cool. And you've just literally got to keep trying.
You gotta have faith and give yourself the time to do it. Like you can't expect everything to happen at once, right?
Yeah, and just to believe in yourself as well. Surround yourself with people that pick you up, and I think that's really important because it's easy to feel like you're not very good at what you do or you're not really getting anywhere, this and that, but you've really got to believe in yourself and keep up the ambition.
That's it. Yeah. You know what? If you can get all those, then you'll be at Liv's point and going upwards. You know, from there. You know, it's just like keep the faith and have confidence. Yeah, I guess for models as well. Like they say that, like, you know, you should have, like, you fake it till you make it. You know, like you feel that you build your confidence as you fake your confidence. You know, because otherwise you're not going to get anywhere with anything like that. Like, you got to have that start. So yeah, great words, Liv. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us for this special episode of the What Topic podcast. Of course, we have been, again, your host, Josh Deakin at Miss Josh Deakin.
And your co-host, Owen Burkett at Owen.Burkett.
And where can everyone find you again, Liv?
Livs_artistry.
Fantastic.
Did they find you on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok? If they want to stalk you. Okay.
I have got a TikTok, to be fair, but I need to update it.
Yeah, I think everyone's got a TikTok. They just forget that they have it. They go on the app all the time, but they forget they got it.
Yeah, I'm more of an Instagram reel person.
That's it, yeah.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, until next time, guys, thank you again for joining us. As we always say, stay safe out there. Wear a mask until you're told not to wear a mask if you don't need to. And we'll see you very soon.
Yep, see you then. Take care of yourselves.
See you later.
See you later.